game, win it life, have no shame. There's no time, feel the pain, live the grind. I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb. The only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact. Taking big swings, put your hand to the bat. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Welcome to an interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be learning how to cut and sew a poo-poo gown with a patch design in the front and a V-neck line. So this is the Ankara that we'll be using to design the front bodies and also the neckline. So the measurements we'll be needing here is 1, the biggest circumference of your body. Some people it's their bust, while some people is their hip, while some people is their waist. But for this one, I'm drafting the bust circumference is the biggest circumference of her body. So you'll be needing the bust, the shoulder, the sleeve length, and your gown length. So these are the important measurements needed for this tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark the neck width. So we are drafting the front part first. I'm working with a crepe material. Okay, so I'm drafting the front part first. So the neck width we are working with is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 3.5 inches. As you can see, I marked down ½ inch downward and I ruled a straight line. This will serve as the starting point of our drafting. Okay, so after marking the neck width of 3.5 inches, I'm going to mark the neck depth as 8.5. So I'm going to convert this into a box shape to enable me connect my neckline. So after squaring it up, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. So I'm going to connect this point to this point. So the next thing I'll do is to mark the shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 19 inches. Divided by 2, I have 9.5. I'm going to mark 9.5 from the center front like this. Then after marking the 9.5, I'm going to mark the sleeve length where I want the sleeve to stop. Okay, so I'm going to be marking 13 inches because the owner of this clothes wants the sleeve length to surpass the elbow, and her sleeve length to elbow is 12.5, but I'm just going to mark 13 inches plus extra 1 inch turning allowance. So I'm going to mark the total of 14 inches for the sleeve length. So I'm going to mark 14 inches from here. So from the shoulder point, I'm going to mark 14 inches as her sleeve length. Okay, so this is 14 inches. In total, I'm going to have 24 inches. Okay, so this is how to get the total of what you have here. Simply put your shoulder plus the sleeve length. So the total of what I have here is 24 inches. You can see that my crepe surpassed the 24 inches, but I will be cutting it out. So from the sleeve length point, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches. So this will be for the shoulder slant. So you come down by 1.5 and you are going to connect it. So this will be for the shoulder slant. So you are placing your ruler on the neck point to the shoulder point to the sleeve length point. So I'm going to place my ruler and connect the line. So the next thing we are going to do is to mark the sleeve opening. And for you to know what you are going to mark as the sleeve opening, first of all, you are going to divide the bust circumference you are working with by 6 plus 1.5. So whatever you get, you are going to add extra 2 or 3 inches to whatever you get. That is what you are going to mark as your boot sleeve opening. Okay, so the bust circumference I'm working with here is 50 inches. When I divide it by 6, I'm going to have 8.3 plus 1.5. I'm going to have 9.8, then plus extra 3 inches. I will arrive at 12.83. Okay, so I'm going to approximate it to 13 inches, and that is what I'm going to mark here. So I'm going to mark 13 inches from this slant point as the sleeve opening. So I'm going to mark 13 inches. I'm going to mark it all the way and connect a straight line. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to connect a straight line downward like so. So it's practically measuring the totality of what you have here. 24 inches, you mark it here and you connect it. Okay, so I'm going to measure 24 inches. And I'm going to connect a straight line. This will serve as our sleeve opening. So I'm just going to come in by 1 inch like so, then I will connect it back. So can you see that? So this line is not needed again. So the next thing I will do is to mark the waistline. So her waistline is 18 inches. Then you also mark the hip line. I'm going to mark 26 inches as the hip line. So I'm just going to connect it. So the next thing you are going to do is to mark the biggest circumference of your body. Okay, so you divide the biggest circumference of your body by 4 plus extra 3.5 inches. So the biggest circumference on this body I'm working with is the bust, so which is 50 divided by 4. I'm going to have 12.58. Okay, 50.5 divided by 4, 12.58. Okay, so I'm going to mark 12.58. That is 12.625. So I'm going to mark it like this, and I'll mark extra 3.5 inches. So I'm going to continue the measurements all the way downward. Okay, 12.58 like this, extra 3.5 inches. So I'm going to so the next thing I want to do is to curve the armhole nicely. Okay, I'm just going to come down by 2.5 inches or even 3 inches. Then I'm going to get my curve ruler so that we can curve this nicely. So this is it. You can equally use your free hand to do so. So I'm going to also mark the back neckline. Okay, if I'm cutting, I'm going to cut the back neckline first of all. Then I'm going to place this on the other material and cut out the back. Then we will finish up with the front. I think it will be better that way, so that we won't be wasting time drafting all this again at the back. Okay, so I'm just going to measure the back neck depth as 1.5 inches. Oh, 1.5 inches is okay, or let me leave it at 1 inch. Okay, so the back neck depth 1 inch. So I'm going to connect it. So this is 1 inch. So I'll come in by 0.75 just to connect the neck curve and nothing more. Okay. So this will be for the back neckline. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to add the joining allowance at the shoulder seam, and we are going to cut out. Okay, we are going to add 1/2 inch joining allowance at the shoulder seam. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out. After adding your joining allowance at the shoulder, we are going to cut out. So we are going to cut out the back first. Okay. So I have placed this on another fabric so that we can cut out the back, and then after that we are going to cut out the front neckline. So I'm going to make an 1/2 inch diagonal line here, and I'm going to make a slit over there. So So I'm gone ahead to draw where I'm going to place this Ankara material on the neckline. So I'm going to explain what I drew. Okay, so at this part, the Ankara was extended from this part all the way. You can decide to cut the Ankara together, or you can also decide to cut it differently, like you cut and place here and also cut and place here. So anyone which can work for you, you can adopt that method. So what I marked here was 4 inches here. Then I have to connect a straight line, then connect it back to the neckline. So what you are simply going to do is, after drawing it, you are going to get your paper and place it inside. Then you are going to use your tracing wheel to trace that exact shape that you draw. Then after tracing it, make sure you add folding allowance and also 1/2 inch allowance, so that the one that you are going to place here is going to cover it up, so it's going to seem like it's one. As simple as that. So I've also come here to draw how I want the design to be. So all I'm going to do is just to measure the width of where this design is going to occupy, and you add your folding allowance because you have to fold it to be neat, and you also measure the length also. So this design, I want it to stop at the waistline of this particular person. Okay, so this is how I cut it out on my paper. Can you see? So the length is 14 inches while the width is 18 inches. So after folding it, it's going to come back to the normal size I want it to be. Okay, so I'm assuming this is my Ankara design. So this is how you are going to place it on your design after joining the neckline. Can you see that? So what I'm going to do is to give it a shape at the down part. So this shape you are giving it at the down part does not have a particular order. Just do whatever you like. So at this point, I'm just going to come up by 3 inches. While at this point, I'm going to come up by 5 inches. So I'm going to connect these 5 inches to the midpoint. Then these 3 inches to the midpoint. So that is how it's going to be. So I'm going to cut this out, then I will use it to cut out the Ankara design. So after folding the slant line I made, this is how the design is going to look on the front bodies. So I'm going to use these papers to cut out the Ankara fabric. I'm also going to add an interfacing to it. Then let's proceed with the neckline and the collar. So I've gone ahead to join this Ankara patch design on the left side of the front bodies. So before you join it, make sure you fold in this place. Okay, so I've joined it, and I've also gone ahead to weave the neckline. So the next thing I want to do is to join the front and back bodies, right side facing each other. So I'm going to join it at the shoulder, only at the shoulder. Then we will be back for the neckline. So after joining the shoulders, the next thing you want to do is to measure round the neck. Okay, starting from this point, you are going to measure to ascertain what you got. Okay, So you are going to measure it carefully and you are going to stop here. Okay, so whatever you got, add extra 3 inches to it to be at the safer side. If there is excess, you can always trim it up. Okay, so this is the strap I cut out. So what will determine the width of this strap? You can see I cut out 2 inches. So what should determine the width is what you have from this midpoint to here and from this midpoint to here. So make sure you iron the middle part of your body so that you can know the midpoint. Okay, so what I have from the midpoint to here is 1 inch, and from the midpoint to the other side is 1 inch. So if you don't want your neck band to overlap each other here, you are going to make sure that you cut that exact 1 inch plus half inch seam allowance. So on a normal, I'm supposed to cut 1.5 inches width for this, but what I cut was 2 inches because I want it to overlap here so that if there is any chances of the cleavage showing, it's going to cover it up. We are going to be at the safer side. But then on a normal, since we have 1 inch here, we are going to cut out 1.5 inch. That half inch is just for joining allowance. Okay, but what I cut here is 2 inches because I want it to overlap at this part. Okay, so I have cut it out 2 inches on fold. Can you see that? So cut it out, you weave it nicely, and then we go ahead and join it. Okay, so middle point to middle point. Okay, that's how you are going to join it, and it should be right side facing each other like this. Okay, so mash up this middle point to the center back, the middle point at the center back. So you are joining it right side facing each other. Can you see what I'm doing? Like this. Then you are going to grab the other side and also join it. Okay, I hope you see what I did. Right side facing each other. So I will go ahead and join. So after joining the neck collar, this is how it looks like. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is to flip it inside. You can remember this diagonal line we made when we are drafting the neckline, so it will enable you flip it inside nicely. Can you see? So once you flip it inside, you are going to turn in this part. So once you turn it in, you are going to top stitch. So you are going to open it up like this. Can you see? You are going to hold it like this and top stitch on both of them nicely. After that, you trim off this excess. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So after top stitching this place and ironing it down, this is how beautiful it looks. The next step is to add this design. Okay, so I'm just going to raise it up by ½ inch like this. So it's going to be like this. So you pin it down and top stitch round. So make sure that you fold in the sides, the upper part, and also the down part. Okay, so you are going to go ahead and top stitch round. So the next step is to add the side pocket, and this is the pocket pieces I cut out. The width is 8 inches while the length is 10 inches. So it's 2 pieces and it's still on fold. So what I'm going to do is to get my curve ruler and curve the down part. Then after that, I'm going to cut it out and slit open the folded parts, and we have our pocket pieces. So in order to locate where you are going to place your pockets on your bodies, so this is the armhole. Then I'm going to come down by 5 inches. Okay, so if I measure from the shoulder to this 5 inches, I will have 18 inches. So this is basically the waistline I'm working with. Okay, so on the waistline, you mark your pocket opening. So the pocket opening I'm working with is, I think it's 8.25. Yeah, so this is the pocket opening. This is how it's going to be on your body, so you can just place it from that point and mark. So I'm going to notch these 2 points, and I will also do the same thing on the other side of the bodice. So what we are going to do next is to pin down the pocket bag. Okay, so it should be right side facing each other. So you are going to pin it down like so, right side facing each other. So you pin it on the front and you also pin it on the back. So this is the front and this is the back. You also pin it. It should be right side facing each other. Can you see that? You also pin it down like this. So you pin it down, you go and stitch it down. So after joining the pockets right side facing each other, you are going to give it a good press. This is how it's going to look like. Can you see that? Can you see that? So make sure you also hem your sleeve. Can you see? We've also joined at the other side too. So the next thing you want to do is to flip it over to the back so that you can join it right side facing each other. Okay, so this is the wrong part. You flip it over like this, then you are going to bring out the, so once you bring out the pocket, you are going to mash it up nicely like this. Okay, so you pin it down, you mash it up. So once you are done hemming your sleeve, you are going to take it by 1/2 inch. So when you get to the pocket mouth, come in closer by 1/2 inch, then you follow this line and sew. You also make sure that it's 1/2 inch here, then you continue. Okay, so for the slits at the side, you are just going to come up by 13.5 inches from the hemline. Okay, for the side slit, you are just going to come up by 13.5 inches. Then that is where your sewing is going to stop. So here is going to be opened up. So I'll go ahead and do all that. So guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. If you find this helpful, please kindly give this a thumbs up. So this is the pocket we made earlier. Can you see how beautiful it looks? Thank you so much for watching till this point. If you've not yet subscribed to my channel, please kindly do so. That would really mean a lot to me. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Vivian Bernard and I am the creative director of this channel. If you have any question pertaining to this tutorial, kindly drop your questions on the comment section. I will attend to that. Please like this video, share it so that other people who need to see this are going to see it. All right guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye.